Hello, YouTube. I've got to come clean about something. I have committed a cardinal sin, a grievous infraction upon the Elden Ring community, and it's not in my character to do so normally. I made a huge mistake, and what that mistake is, well, I'm not going to tell you right off the bat. You click away. I need you here. You're important to me. I want you to hang around. I may not be important to you, but you're important to me, so I hope you hang around. And so, this video, I want to talk a little bit about the morality, the honor, the isms of Elden Ring and its PvP community, karma, and invaders, and things like that. And so, I'm going to do it while showing you footage of this invasion that took far too long. And it's these two fellows who are chilling up on this bridge, you know, using Moonveil, using Spinning Slash on a Nagakiba, keeping people down and in the dumps, and not letting you get up that ladder to fight them. For some reason, they're not advancing through the level, though to be fair, being level 138-ish in that bracket, seems a little high for doing the Lake of Rot personally, especially since they seem to be kitted to kill, not to adventure. Very odd. But I wanted to talk a little bit about invading, and so this is one of those situations where you're trying to get up there, and you're trying to find a way up, you're trying to hurt them, you're trying to bait them into making some sort of mistake. Maybe you can rain of arrows on them, maybe you can shoot them with the great bow, and it's just a situation where you can't climb the ladder. They have their own great bows. They have, it'll be shown in a little bit, the other guy's got the ritual spear that you get from one of the death words. The ones where it's Ash of War is a bunch of raining spears. Casts very fast, does good damage, hits a wide area. That one, it's a dexterity spear with an int requirement. And I should have shot that guy right there. What a mistake. But I was too worried about the other guy. I was too tunnel visioned. And so this is all going to lead up to something, don't you worry. I want to show off my grievous sin that I make, my big mistake. And for once, I get a taste of my own medicine. I get to taste a little bit of karmic justice. There's many a time across my videos where I see somebody below me, and I use a rain of arrows, and it sometimes full to nothing's up. They can't get up a ladder because I'm judiciously guarding that ladder. And now I'm the one on the receiving end. I get to taste some of my own medicine, so to speak. And so it's like, how do you defeat these fellows, right? You go up the ladder, you're going to get toasted, right? If you manage to somehow get up the ladder, you're going to be up there with like 10% of your HP or less. And then they're just going to clobber you. You're not going to have much time. If you go for the quick heal, if you somehow don't die by all that, you're going to be out of resources before you know it. It becomes a war of attrition. And I'm not here necessarily to make any moral judgments. There's a lot of those in the community. There's lots of people who think you should need and ought to play a certain way. You got to, you know, bow before every single gank squad. You've got to double bow before every gank squad. I'm being facetious. But there's people who say, oh, you should always give them fair warning because it's not fair that you can ruin their, you know, their PvE adventure. There's all sorts of people out there who are like, oh, you shouldn't invade in certain brackets because the people you're invading won't be prepared. And so they don't do that to them. It's not fair that you as the invader get preparation time when that is really the greatest asset that every invader has over those he's invading, in theory, is he can be better prepared. He might already know the level. He might already have the equipment. On average, people he's invading will be a higher level than him, and of course that person can bring in phantoms that are around their level, or perhaps phantoms that are much higher. So this begs the question, where is the rulebook? Where is the law, the authority to come down and present unto us the invader's book of etiquette? You know, how should we act as invaders? The developers put it in the game. They always characterize the invaders as the utmost evil so that you'll be prepared when you do see them show up. You'll expect them to be evil, you'll expect them to be scummy, you won't give them an inch, you'll defeat them. Hopefully, and it seems like the ideal is that you're just venturing through the world, you're fighting the environment, you have a friend with you as well to take off some of that load. And then the invader shows up, you have a scuffle, he takes some of your resources, but at the end you defeat him and you go on your merry way. Well, the invaders, they're people too. Controversial statement. And they feel like they ought to win for their preparedness, and sometimes they do. The developer has not sat down and given us a list of rules. They never said, you must bow before every engagement. They have not come down and said, oh, you should not invade in these brackets. That is rude. That is uncouth. And so it really comes down to the individual. There is no guidebook. Now, there are obvious bad things you should need and you should not do, right? Cheating, for one. Like, if you're using hacks to insta-kill people, deathblight people, overload their poor video cards so their game crashes, that's of course not okay. That's obvious. That's not in the huge gray area that we have here when we play Soulsborne games. So, obvious cheating, don't do that. You probably should not use move swaps that insta-kill people, like the chainsaw glitch, right? The chainsaw glitch being a move swap where you get a weapon to use another weapon's ability, and essentially it has very high range, very high fire rate, and can hit through walls. It can kill people basically instantly if you line it up. It's kind of difficult to do organically. It's fairly easily if you have macros. So that's obviously cheating again. Where is the rule book? Where is the justice? Well, it doesn't seem like there is one, and we're not going to get one, and we haven't got one ever. Not since the earliest inception of these style of games, 2009 Demon Souls. And you're not going to get one. And so it's kind of down to the dictates of each person's heart for what is and isn't right. And that's a little unfortunate. It's a little bit like the real world. It's kind of weird. It's a video game. There's nothing real about it other than the fun we might have along the way. And so I transgressed my own moral code. For the most part, I try to be nice to people. I try to wave when reasonable. Sometimes I succumb and get the drop on people. I like to save the host for last if I can, to give the whole team a fighting chance. Doesn't always work out. I don't chainsaw innocent players or use insta-kill hacks and things of that kind. I don't do those things. And you know what else I don't do? I don't point down. I try not to add to the toxic behavior that can come with any sort of player versus player online interactions. I would like to rise above it if I can. You know, stay level-headed. And I'll admit, this invasion grinded my gears. I hated the idea that somebody was at the top of the ladder and they wouldn't let me into the treehouse. That they had a sign on the treehouse that said no invaders allowed. It upset me a little more than it probably should have. Now, this upset is still very mild in the grand scheme of things, but it made me a little salty, understandably. And so I did something. I trespassed my moral compass when I should not have. And I have not revealed what that trespass is, but you'll see it coming up here. Oh boy. You'll see it coming up here. And so I fail. 9 minutes of an invasion and I die. And so what do? Well, I re-invade them. I get my twin spears out because I'm feeling salty and I go, alright, we're going to use the Phantom Recusant Finger. It's the only way up that ladder. It is the only way up the ladder. I have a co-invader, another one. It looks like he's taking some damage. I need to get in there and bail him out of trouble. And I finally get up there, and they're separated. Oh, thank goodness, they're separated. So you can backstab this feller, get him out of the treehouse, and now it's just a 1v1. A 1v1 that's not too hard when you're using Endure and Twin Spears. That's not the trespass, though it is a little dirty. Oh no, the trespass will come at the very end, and I must say in advance, I am so terribly sorry for my lapse in judgment. It won't happen again. Please, forgive me.